Attention Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fans. Are you searching for love in a galaxy far, far away? Then Meet Upon Maine is the ultimate dating and social networking site for you.
Join thousands of fans who are making magical connections. Whether you're seeking a serious relationship or amazing new park buddies, Meet Upon Maine has it all.
Build a profile to make magical matches, create new friendships, and bond over your shared passions, from epic lightsaber battles to heartwarming Disney moments. Embrace the thrill of finding someone who vibes with your fandom on a whole new level.
Don't miss out on this enchanted opportunity. Make your dreams come true with Meet Upon Maine, where Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fans connect.
Sign up now and let the magic begin. Visit meetuponmaine.com and start your journey to a happily ever after.
Meet Upon Maine is not affiliated with Disney, Marvel, or Lucasfilm. Please use responsibly and follow our community guidelines. Must be 18 years or older to join.
Let's put that genie back in the bottle.
Paints with the colors of the wind, bitch.
It's time for Two Finger Point.
Power Daddy.
Our shoes are in the pond.
Extra magic hours, which we in turn called extra tragic hours.
People called him the naked mole rat.
Did you really just two finger point?
Here are your hosts, Amber and Kylie.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Two Finger Point. I'm Amber.
And I'm Kylie.
And we are just going to roll in with everything. I guess it's a disclaimer, but not really. This is going to be a very Halloween heavy episode. I mean, we are officially in spooky season.
Yes.
As we're recording, yesterday was technically the first day of fall.
Yes.
So,
and as you're listening, I just want to throw this in there. Happy October 3rd.
It's October 3rd.
Yeah, lots of Halloween stuff, and just I'll throw this in here too. On Disney Plus this week, Haunted Mansion, the new one, and Disney's rendition of the Goosebumps series. So it is full on spooky season.
Yay! And I'm excited. We're both gonna watch the new Haunted Mansion, and we will be doing a deep dive episode coming up here soon. So get ready for that to come out soon. All right, so let's roll into our Disney news. So Disney execs got together and started talking about their plans for how to expand with the $60 billion that they're planning to invest into the Disney parks in the next, I think it's decade.
Billion with a B.
With a B. We have no money, but we've got $60 billion to invest. One of the things that they said that they wanted to possibly expand and tease with is a possibility of a Frozen land in Disneyland. Yeah. And so Josh D'Amaro, again, I could still be pronouncing his name wrong, but Disney's chairman, he basically said, like, in relating to this, he said, we have a wealth of untapped stories to bring to life across our business. He said, Frozen, one of the most successful and popular animated franchises of all time, could have a presence at the Disneyland resort.
I feel like we've done Frozen so much. Specifically during our program, it was everywhere. You could not get away from it. Let It Go was just what we wish they would let go.
Literally. I mean, walking every day to work, you heard it at least once.
No, at least like 5 times.
Oh yeah, no, but you were guaranteed to hear it. Like there was no question you were going to hear it. So we are exhausted from Frozen, but yeah, apparently it's doing extremely well within Disney, and they want to expand it out to Disneyland, which, for the record, there is nothing nothing Frozen at all at the Disneyland park. No rides.
Let it be that way. That's fine.
I'm fine with it.
Why not
totally
put
fine.
it at like Blizzard Beach or something? And they have the ride at Epcot.
Yeah, because do you remember, like, when we were first there, that was when at Epcot they were converting over the area to have the meet and greet for Anna and Elsa. They didn't even have it yet. Like, they were building the area.
What was that ride called? It was, I don't remember. I think it was
something Arendelle, right?
No, like the original. I don't
Oh,
remember what the ride was called, but I liked it. I enjoyed going on it, and they shut it down while we were there so they could renovate it to make it Frozen.
yeah. I don't know. I'm not happy about the idea of them doing expansion of Frozen. One, it can go away, and two, where would they put it in Disneyland? Like, are they so they're gonna have to
Yeah.
expand out, which means they're probably gonna have to expand Fantasyland, I guess. That's the only place
Mhm.
I could think they could do it.
Yeah, I maybe by Small World, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be the only place I could think too.
And I mean, it would kind of go with the exterior of a Small World.
Yeah.
I
But then
don't
right
know.
behind Small World is where they built out Toontown.
Mhm.
So it's like you would have to go out the other way. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
But to speak on that, so I was talking to my dad and he came in with the tea, Papa O, saying there might be is it four? Frozen 4? We're on 4 now, right? He said
No,
there's
we've only
talks
have
of
2.
2, so then it's 3, Frozen 3.
No, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's talks and whispers of a third one. And he told me this yesterday and I was like, my whole body dropped. I was like, you've got to be
Yeah.
kidding me.
No.
I haven't seen the second one. I did eventually break down in like I think 2015 or 16 and watch the first one. It was good. I didn't think it was the most grand, amazing thing I'd ever seen,
Exactly.
but it was
I've
good.
seen a handful. Moana. Moana
Yes,
is way better than
100%.
Frozen.
No, I definitely agree. Any of the other ones, Encanto, Coco.
I would argue Encanto too, because that you could do so much of, because they had a huge family and each
Hmm.
family member was so different. And then you have this house that's essentially a character. Like they could have done so
You're
much
right.
with that. Not Frozen. Nobody wants Frozen anymore.
I truly don't know what the big appeal of Frozen still is. Like I understood when they first came out, okay, sister princess queen. And I guess just like to give some context as to like why we're trying to expand over here at like Disneyland is so Hong Kong this year, and November 20th of this year is going to unveil their World of Frozen at their park. And I've seen TikToks of this. They've been working on this for years, and they have like a whole you can walk through Arendelle. How do you say
Mhm.
it?
Arendelle.
Arendelle. And you can see Elsa's ice castle. And then they have like a ride as well. It's like some little roller coaster that kind of mimics like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, basically. It's just like a ride through.
Okay. See, and I get it, but let's have it at one park. And like, yes, we can have Elsa's castle, the way
Mhm.
we have Cinderella's and Sleeping Beauties and Beast, but we don't need to have it at every park.
I actually agree with that. I think that's a really good point because first of all, it brings exclusivity to a park. You kind of like want to go
Mm-hmm.
to different parks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, you don't have it's too overwhelming to try to do everything at every park,
Yeah.
Make that the thing like for Hong Kong, make that the thing for Hong Kong Disneyland, this is where you come and you do the Frozen experience and they have the best one that they built out. Like I said, they've been doing this for years to build it out. Like, why are we trying to give like a low-key like Kmart version of it at these other Disney parks? Like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe not Kmart, but like a lower grade version, like why are we trying to just stuff it in everywhere? Like we get that it's kids like it, but like I guess if you're planning your Disney trip and your kid is a Frozen fanatic, maybe go to Disney World versus Disneyland because that's where Elsa is. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. That's me. That's just my opinion, I guess. Maybe I'm just being
I'm
salty.
no, I'm with you. Like enough of Frozen.
Yeah.
Like we've
I'm
been
a
saying, like we're the generation that Disney needs to pertain to, because
mhm.
we're the ones that grew up with it, and now we're the consumer, the
We're the
direct
paying
consumer. It's
customer.
not our parents, and they're not still interested. They did it for their kids. We're still interested in it. We don't want Frozen.
Yeah, and so it's funny that you said that because like we're also starting to have kids too. So like not only
Mhm.
are we a consumer, but we also have kids that we're bringing too, and we're also trying to experience it. So it's like if I don't know, it's just like they're not marketing to the right people. They're kind of like forgetting the other half of their market. They're just
Yeah.
like thwarting it, which we're the like like I said, like we're the ones paying. So like the fact that we have the income to come in and spend at the parks or spend in the brand, you should be marketing to us, but you're
Yeah.
missing a big opportunity here. Let me get off my soapbox.
What else we got
Um,
going?
Within this meeting, they were talking about the possibility of expansions with Coco and Wakanda, both at Disneyland and Disney World.
Okay,
So
again with the we don't need it at both.
yeah,
I think Wakanda could be a cool immersive,
Mhm.
like the Star Wars land. I think that could be a neat experience. Have you seen
yeah.
Black Panther? Okay.
You know, I'm just
I
not a Marvel girl.
I know, but like I just didn't know if you like knew what Wakanda looked like. I think they could do a lot with that. I think that'll be really cool. But I'm kind of
Okay.
curious what they would do with Coco.
You know, I don't know what they would do with Coco, but what I have seen, what they are currently doing. So, like in the stage area of like fantasy, was it Fantasyland? No, it was Frontierland slash Adventureland area. There's like a little stage area,
Hmm.
and they have like a Coco
Like a
what do you,
show.
yeah, like a little show there.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I'd
they're
be
doing,
interested to see what they do with Coco because I feel like that's another underrated one that kind of got swept under the rug.
yeah, I feel like there could be some fun stuff. I don't know if you necessarily need to do like a full expansion, but maybe like, expand on like this show and make it like a fun one that people like want to see and then do like, I mean, this is based on like Dios de los Muertos, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking like we're doing Oogie Boogie Bash and stuff. Why don't they do a Dios de los Muertos?
Totally what I was just thinking. You've totally read my mind. That's
Like
why I
a
was like, hold on, like,
even just maybe like a big parade would be cool.
yes, something. It's
Mhm.
because yeah, we're embracing culture and does a great job of that, but I feel like this is a lost like way to kind of connect the two cultures, the American
Mhm.
culture and the Hispanic culture with
Yeah,
Halloween.
I think they should do a even if they just do it on November 1st and 2nd and just did that celebration because that's I want to say they do that in Mexico and they have a parade. I know it's just this big party and everyone on
Hmm.
their they put their representations of their ancestors out and on their roads, for everyone to see and they just celebrate their ancestors.
I just think it could be such a cool experience for Disney, especially um with the dates too. Like everything would be
Hmm.
kind of closing out for Halloween, and you could have this one last huge celebration
Yeah.
for Disney and then roll right into like Christmas. But I think it could be very like cool and honestly really epic.
Yeah. And
Um,
yeah, everyone gets to experience a new culture.
yeah. So I think I could be, I wonder if maybe they would have to almost do that also in California Adventureland. I don't know why, but something says it would make sense to do like that kind of a celebration over there too.
It does because there's, Mexico's right under California.
Hmm.
There's a lot of Mexicans in California. It's part of the culture.
You're right. That's what it is. It's definitely that feeling. So I think that could be really interesting. And that's definitely something that they should tap into in these future like celebrations that they're doing at the park.
They
And
really
just a
should
little,
consult us.
they really should. Hello. Not only do we work there, but we also have really great ideas being people who want to consume your guys' content and other things. So, but just a little fun fact too, Disney World specifically has not unveiled a new park since 1998, which is excluding the water parks, but that was when Animal Kingdom opened for the first time.
So Hong Kong, Paris, like all of that was already there.
No,
Tokyo.
Disney World specific, like that Walt Disney World.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
This was just in one of the articles, so I thought that was interesting that it's been a while since they actually like unveiled, like, which we know, but
Yeah.
like
I
a little
mean,
interesting fun fact.
there's so much going on there. I don't know if we need more,
No,
especially
they
since we
don't.
can't afford employees right now, even though we have 60 billion for the parks.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Which it's ironic that you say that because as I was like reading these articles, like they were talking about like, oh, we're going to expand and look at all these positive things we're doing. But also like the people who were writing the articles were like, but let's not forget, Disney has laid off
Mhm.
X amount of employees and they've done this, that, and the other. So it's kind of like yeah, Disney, like it's great that you're doing these really positive things, but let's not forget like the things that have happened this year that
Right.
have given you quote unquote stepping stones in this direction. If stepping on X
Mhm.
amount of employees is what gets you to the next level, I know. Okay, so Disney World. So this news, I don't know how true this is because I couldn't find any like relevancy to it, but
Mhm.
I found this to be extremely interesting.
Ooh, what is it?
Okay, so Disney World is possibly going to host something called the Disney Grand Prix, um, with a Formula One race to take place inside the Disney World parks,
Oh.
which, so they've never had any kind of a race that's like
Mhm.
happened inside the parks. Like the only thing they had, like somebody joked, they were like, besides Tomorrowland Speedway, haha. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, haha, that's funny. But
Hmm.
um Disney has not commented, which we know Disney, like when things like this kind of come out, like they stay pretty unconfirmed or, unofficial for a while.
Right.
And these articles I read had literally just come out like yesterday, which would be September 23rd.
Say, I could see this being a good direction for them to bring in, like, to interest the dads. I know we
Totally.
already have Star Wars and Marvel, but I really feel like they're like just ringing them out and they're almost done. I think this is a good direction. I'm not into Formula One or NASCAR or anything like that.
Hmm.
But, a lot of boys in my family are into racing, so I could see this being a good option for them. I
It's
just,
definitely confusing, right?
yeah, where are they gonna put this is my question.
Yeah, so when I was looking the map that they were showing, it's basically going to go through like Magic Kingdom and like kind of go around and then back through like Epcot. It's like a 4 or 5 mile loop, I think they said.
So is this on the little freeway that goes through, or are we driving, next to Peter Pan's flight in the park?
Like we might be in the parks is what it's showing, which is
I-
why I don't know if this is something that's going to be actually confirmed because like based on
No.
what they're saying, Disney World would have to cease operations for like they're saying several days to several weeks.
But if you like look at those tracks, like you've got cars on cars, like fighting to get the next slot. How are
100%.
like if you're going through, oh God, what was that name? Or no, Peter Pan's flight is right by the merry-go-round, right? If
Mhm.
you're going between that, how are you going to fit like 3 to 4 cars that are trying to fight for the next slot in ranking?
Yeah, so it must be like it yeah, this is why like I felt like none of this made any sense because I think the maps people were concocting didn't make sense.
Yeah. Maybe if
So,
I mean, they've got so much land, they could, I hate to do this, like knock out trees and make a racetrack for Disney.
that's probably what they would end up doing if they decide to do it, but like I said, they would have to stop park operations for several weeks at
Mm-hmm.
least. And I was telling Eric about this and he was like, I don't know how that makes sense. And I was like, well, they'll make their money back, like for sure. Because like you said, like people who are interested in this, they will pay a penny
There's
for it.
money in racing, yeah.
But it's a huge risk for them to like shut their parks down like that. Have they ever done that? I don't think Disney has ever shut down parks like that.
No. I remember when they shut down for COVID and I was like,
Yeah, that was huge.
what's going on here?
So this feels like it's like a what do you call it? Not a myth, but like a rumor. This is
Yeah,
a
I'm wondering if they just had their first meetings about it. So
mhm,
everything's in very beginning um
like phases.
stages, yeah,
Yeah.
and everyone's just talking and conspiring.
Yeah, because in the same article, or at least one of them, because I found two articles about it, but literally two articles, and that was it, which is crazy. They were also saying that Disney is going to build a stadium and host the 2024 Super Bowl, or it was either 2024 or 2025 Super Bowl. And that
Hmm.
honestly makes a little bit more sense because of the ESPN connection they have. And
Yeah.
which I mean, again, racing also, but I don't know. Something about football made more sense in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, they do own ESPN, I think, and they've got all that land in Disney World. It wouldn't be dumb to build stadiums for sporting events.
Yeah. And I mean, they already like the whole saying, it's like, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you doing? I'm
I'm
going to
going to
Disney World
Disneyland. Oh,
or
is it
Disneyland
World?
or World. I don't know. Is it World Land? You're
I know
probably,
it's
I don't
land.
know. Well, they said land last year because I think they were close to land, which I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, they said land. So yeah, I'm going to Disney. Like that's like the thing everyone says.
Yeah.
So it would be extremely smart on their part to have a stadium to host if they can.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense. So these are the Disney little rumors that are flying right now, which there's probably going to be a lot of them because, like I said, these executives all got together and started talking. So rumors for what they're going to be doing in the next few years. This might even be part of that $60 billion that they're like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think instead of adding stuff to what's existing, if you're going to expand with new facilities.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I like that they're doing or thinking about doing things that are a little bit that are Disney related, Disney adjacent per se, not just like so heavy and like Frozen.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get everyone excited about our segment of the week?
Yeah. So our segment of the week, we have crafted up a list, our top 13 Halloween movies, Disney movies. So these are DComs or not DComs, whatever's been produced by Disney Studios or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we challenged ourselves and we were like, okay, let's make one we agree on instead of having two separate lists. So we'll roll into it. And so we're doing our top 13. Number 13, we have
Ooh.
Zombies. So Amber hasn't seen this movie, but I was telling her about it and she's gonna watch it. But so Zombies takes place in it's like a planned community and it's called Seabrook and it's also segregated. And there's a little area of Seabrook called Zombie Town. And back in the day, they explain that certain people were exposed to like nuclear chemicals, whatever, and turned into zombies. And so they were exiled to the Zombie Town area and it's all segregated. And like they have to wear these bracelets to harness in their zombiness. But yeah, so it's very segregation parallel and they're fighting for rights. So they gain the rights for the zombie high schoolers to go to high school with the Seabrook high schoolers. And this girl, Addison, who's one of the main characters, is from Seabrook. She's starting her freshman year, pretty much has a path to be popular. She's a cheerleader, pretty blonde girl. And on the zombie side, there's this boy, Zed. They end up like falling in love and, like fight for rights together. It's really cute and it's a musical. So check it out.
It sounds really cute. When she was explaining it to me, I was like, wait a minute, I love this. It's one of those like like the unexpected like little rom-coms essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm into it. And it fits into like all the stuff like, back in the day I would watch like, like Vampire Diaries, Teen Wolf, like all those things. Like it gives like that kind of vibe,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like into it.
It's cute. Number 12 is Now You See It. So Amber hasn't seen this one either. I'm like giving her a list of things she has to watch. But this one came out, I think, when we were in high school, and it introduced us to Ali Mashaka before Phil the Future. It was a really good movie, though. It was all about magic, and this boy, Johnny, wanted to become a magician. So he goes on this reality show where he's like at a magic camp, I think, where he's learning from the best with like a big group of kids. And little to his knowing, he's an actual sorcerer, and there's some weird stuff going on behind the scenes. And I'm not going to give any spoilers because Amber needs to watch it, but it's a really good movie too. It's a DCOM, but I kind of feel it was a little more mature than most DCOMs. Like not in a like don't let your kids watch this, but it wasn't as cheesy and it had a bit of a thrill to it.
Okay. Yeah, because we were moving in that direction with the DComs, like towards, the later 2000s or, getting towards the tens.
All right, do you want to share number 11?
Yes. So number 11 is a solid classic. But you said you hadn't seen this really either, like full all the way through. You've seen parts of it.
Yes, so I wasn't allowed to, but I've snuck and watched little bits before my parents come in the room.
Yeah. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. This was one of the earlier DComs that came out, and it had I always forget the actress's name.
Caroline Ray.
Yes. And she was one of the aunts in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the original one with Melissa Joan Hart. So automatically, like, I was obsessed with this movie because of her. Because I love her. So basically this was like they wanted to go to like a concert, and so they basically like are trying to sneak out, and they find out like it's like a whole thing with Carolyn Ray's character. Obviously she's a mom, she's got 2 kids, and like she grounds one of her kids. He wants to go to a concert, and their mom goes on a date with a vampire, and they basically are like trying to I think they like follow them around basically and try to like out that he's a vampire to their mom, and their mom's basically telling them like, be quiet, like that's wrong, like I'm trying to have a boyfriend, go away.
That's what I saw from the clips I've seen.
Yeah, so I mean that was basically it. It was a cute vampire movie for kids, basically. It wasn't even, I mean, I guess if you think about it, it was a little bit scary, like not totally scary, but there were some little scary parts because like his teeth would come down and like special effect turn, like he would turn into a vampire. I remember that really vividly. It was a good 2000s DCOM. I definitely say check it out. They had some good actors and actresses in it. So
Number 10, Phantom of the Megaplex. So Pete is the main character. He's the 16-year-old boy, overachiever. He's the assistant manager, which how is a 16-year-old an assistant manager of a whole entire movie theater? There's all sorts of characters he works with, and he's got funny names for them, but I'm not going to go into detail because we're on a time limit. But basically, they're having this big premiere this night, and it's got to be happening at like midnight because too much chaos is going on before this premiere is happening, and it's dark outside already. So there's a phantom, and he's just creating chaos everywhere, and he's trying to sabotage this premiere, and they're trying to catch him, figure out who it is while, you know, being tied up a few times and whatnot. So it's a cute movie.
that, like, it definitely gives me like Scooby-Doo vibes,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, and I think that's why I liked it so much, because I love a good mystery.
Ah, me too. So was Twitches, another solid classic, with Tia and Tamara Mowry. And I guess the best way to describe this is what I feel is like the witchy version of Sister Sister.
Yes.
So they're like separated at birth, and they find each other later on. I guess like we were trying to remember, like, was it the dad or the, do we care?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I want to say the uncle was in on it, because the uncle was like taking care of the mom, and she was like searching for her kids that were lost, when really she sent them into our world to be safe, and they got separated at birth like sister.
Yeah.
And she had like guardians looking after each of them too.
Oh, okay. So you were right. It was their uncle. Their dad is actually protecting them from the darkness because I guess he knows it's his brother is trying to.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess the difference here is they don't meet each other, like they don't find each other until their 21st birthday versus like middle school, high school.
There was like significance with their 21st birthday.
Yeah, probably something with like their magic and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one's fun. That's I mean, there's like the darkness, but it's not like a scary movie, and it's one of those like feel good fun Halloween movies.
Yeah, it's literally just like dark smoke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh my god, purple smoke, so classic Disney.
It's like very much CGI. Number 8 is The Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton classic. So was
We
it
don't have to explain that one.
Yeah, he just goes to Christmas Town and comes back to Halloweentown and tells everybody, essentially.
a solid one, but also it's a good one, but I didn't want to blow smoke up to this movie because like low-key, I do enjoy this movie. I feel like it fits here in the Halloween time, but also Christmas. But so many people like hype this movie up that I was like, I'm sorry, I've got to low-key knock you down a few pegs because like you're great, but you're not like the epitome of Halloween.
Yeah, I feel like Tim Burton is always overhyped like that, and I
It's
don't get it.
just think it's like the darkness that he does in such a playful way.
It's
Like
creepy though.
it is.
All right, what's next? As you drink your witch's brew.
The witch's brew. Halloweentown High, which I think I would say this is probably my second favorite. I think I don't know, there was something
Yeah.
about this one that I really loved. And this was obviously Marnie's in high school at this point. And basically she goes before like the panel of magic. I don't know what they call it.
Something like that. Like the
Something like
council
that.
or something.
Yeah, the council, that's what they called them. And she somehow like basically puts her foot in her own mouth and says that like she feels like she would bet the Cromwell magic, because Marnie Cromwell, that that humans and what did she call them, magic creatures, monsters, what did she, whatever, magical creatures and mythical creatures can live together in harmony. And so she basically starts this like foreign exchange program where these monsters and witches and magical creatures come in and they go to high school, like normal high school. And it's like a whole thing. And basically there's a being that is trying to basically
The knights.
the knights, thank you, yes, to like stop it basically because they don't want harmony between the two. Because like the whole thing with Halloweentown was there's a portal that only opens on Halloween, and that's the only time people can cross over. So they're trying to open the portal like entirely so that it doesn't matter when, you can cross over into Halloweentown if you want to.
I just remember like it introduced us to 2 High School Musical stars.
Thank you. Yes. Lucas Grabeel,
Grabiel.
and Kelsey.
Yeah, she played Kelsey. Her name's like Elise something, but it.
Yeah, her, who she's great too. I just can't remember her name.
Alicia Rulin.
Okay.
Oh, it's a Russian name. That's why it's spelled like that. Okay, so Alicia Rulin.
And so it was like a whole like go through of basically trying to fight the knights into like stop like fucking with us basically. And I'm trying to think, Agatha, the grandma, she falls for a knight.
He was working for them.
Yeah, because he
The
had
principal.
the ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the one, sorry, not Marnie. We thought Marnie was falling for a knight because she was known to problematically fall for the bad boys, which we'll get into that, but we're not gonna do it now. This whole movie was so kooky too, because even the grandma ends up being a teacher, like a chemistry teacher at the high school. I'm rambling on this movie. I love this movie.
Cute.
It's one of my favorites.
It was actually Lucas Grabill's dad who was like leading the knights, and he was also part of the council. That's what it was.
Thank you. I got fuzzy on it.
Okay, so the next one is a movie that is not on Disney Plus, and they remade it as if it just doesn't exist. And we're not here to talk about that one. We're going to talk about the OG one, Under Wraps. So this was a movie about a boy named Marshall and his friends Gilbert and Amy, and they somehow come across this real life mummy because they broke into this, like, he was like a grump and like the whole neighborhood hated him, but also there was like some mafia stuff going on with him. But there's like this mummy in his house, and they end up like summoning it, and they get it out of the house. And so Marshall just has this mummy Harold with him, and it is hilarious. It's definitely a comedy. And he's like trying to communicate with them, but he can't talk. And
I remember this original one, and it was really funny and really cute. But also, just to note that I'm pretty sure this was like the original like DCOM that like started DCOMs. So how dare you disrespect this movie, Disney, and not put the original up?
Seriously. I wonder, like, I don't know. Maybe
Is there
there's a
something
rights issue or something, but
Disney's fighting with themselves because they didn't give themselves licensing for their
I
own
don't
movie?
know. I don't know if maybe it was partially a different company too. I don't know.
Maybe, but they need to get that together
For
because
real.
yeah, how like because you were telling me like how can they make like they made the exact same movie recently? They just like
Hmm.
plop that up there and like here you go, guys. Like don't pay attention over here.
Yeah. It's weird. It's
Random.
kind of like how they made the Kim Possible like decom recently, as if
Oh
we didn't have
yeah.
like a whole series before.
So number 5, so is the Scream team. So you said you haven't seen this, right, Kylie?
No.
Okay, so this had some good actors too. Probably gonna butcher their names, but we'll see. Kathy Najimy, is that right? Najimy
It's close enough.
feels right to
I
me.
don't know how to say it.
Great. She was. Oh my gosh, I always forget the Hocus Pocus witch name. She's
Mary.
Mary. Thank you. I was gonna say Vacuum Girl because she's the one that rides the vacuum.
I only know it because I dressed up as her.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember. You guys did a great job, by the way, with those costumes. I loved it. And then the dark-haired girl, Kat Dennings, who from Two Broke Girls. She was like one of the kids in this movie. She was young. Well, young, but young. So basically, like her and her brother like move into this house, and it's like basically housed, it's like a haunted house. It's got a bunch of spirits in it. Um, and basically the whole plot is them trying to help these ghosts cross over to the afterlife. And like to do it, they basically have to like do one more thing to like bring their soul over. So I'm sure it's like go apologize to somebody or go,
Mm.
make something right essentially. So it was like a cute kid version of, I guess what you say, like a ghost busting movie kind of, but not
Yeah, something
really.
like that, or like I don't know, like just a ghost story, I guess.
Yeah, it was interesting. And this was like one of my first like spooky movies that I remember that I was like, maybe I'm into like this spooky stuff. Like I remember this really
Hmm.
kind of me being like, okay, I'm into this. Um, so it was a cute little Halloween movie.
We got to tackle this one together.
Okay.
So number 4, go ahead and say what it is.
It's Casper Meets Wendy.
So this was like Hilary Duff's first movie,
Oh my God, she was so freaking cute.
right? Like I remember that and just thinking like, oh, she's so adorable. Like every time it was on TV, I'm watching
Mhm.
it.
Oh my gosh. And her little red witchy outfit. Like, do you
Yes.
remember?
Yes. She, what was it, 2016 or
So
2017? Snapchat had like it was supposed to be a Red Riding Hood um filter, and Hilary Duff used it, and she's like, "Oh, I'm Wendy again."
oh my God. I love that. I love that she embraces like all the characters she's been.
Yes, yeah, that one's a
Uh
really cute movie.
yeah. And we're obviously Hillary Duff stands here. So
Yes, I remember when Lizzie McGuire was. It hadn't come out yet, but they were starting to advertise for it, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Wendy!"
yeah. I think that was like our transition from Wendy to Lizzie, basically.
Yeah.
She was always so wholesome. Shout out to Hillary
Yes.
Duff. We love that.
So our number 3 is Halloweentown 2, Calabar's Revenge. I have to say, like, I think this might be my favorite one, to be
Okay.
honest. So the premise of it is it's the next Halloween, so Marnie is like fully immersed in her being a witch. Um, and in the previous one they've killed Calabar, and peace in the land of Halloweentown, supposedly. Well, she's having a Halloween party at her house, and this boy comes in, and they're hitting it off or whatever. Party's over. I think she goes back to No, she hasn't gone back to Halloweentown yet, but like she gets word that everything in Halloweentown is just off. So she goes back, and there's a gray spell. So everybody is just the exact opposite of what they would be if they're under the spell, and they're gray, like
Hmm.
black and white filmed. So she's got to figure out, with the help of her friend Luke, who is a troll, they work together to try to figure out how to break this spell. And that cute boy from the party was Cal, who is Calabar's son, seeking revenge. And you got to talk on who he is.
I was just about to say, I was like, do we say? Okay, so basically, the guy who plays Cal, her and him are now married. They're married together. And together, like what? Like they're married. Like, who says that? It's so funny. You can keep it. It's funny. But yeah, they're married, and I thought that was so cool because I remember when we like saw that they got together, and then they were
Yes.
engaged, and it's like, now they're married. So it's just cute that basically, like, yeah, they met here, and they didn't date for a while, and they kind of reconvened in the last few years.
Yeah, I
And got
think
together.
it was like a Halloweentown reunion or something. They started talking again. So it's a very cute full circle moment.
I love it. I think you're probably right because this was like around the pandemic, so it was probably some kind of like reunion get together, and they were like, "Hey, you're
Yeah.
cute."
Yeah.
I love that. Number 2, I mean, we would be remiss to not put this up at the top. I mean, come on. So, Hocus Pocus. Duh. I think most people know the plot, but we'll give a quick synopsis. So, Max and his family, new kid, move into the town of Salem, and he's new kid on the block. His sister basically wants him to take her out trick-or-treating. He doesn't really want to do it. He does, but he brings along, does he bring along the girl with him, or does she meet him out? I can't remember.
They like bump into each other.
Oh,
and she
her
just joins
party.
them. Yeah,
Her
because
party. That's
they
right.
go in there to get candy or something.
Yeah.
And then she just goes with them.
Yeah. And then she basically tells him, like, oh, there's an old, like, witch's house that's supposedly got a black flame candle. If you light it, these witches come back on Halloween. I'm sorry, you have to be a virgin if you light it. It's like a big thing.
And yeah, I feel like the whole town knew about the Sanderson sisters, but he didn't because he was new.
Yeah. And I just think my favorite thing is like he's from California, so they're all like Hollywood.
Yeah. It was like your typical 90s kid getting bullied plot.
Yeah, totally. And this is ice. Ice. Anyway, yeah, so spoiler alert, he, lights the black flame candle, and the witches come back, wreak havoc for all of Halloween, and then it was only for one night unless they could suck the souls out of enough kids to keep them alive.
Yes.
And they didn't do that, so they died. Spoiler alert.
Another spoiler alert. No, they didn't, because they come back for Hocus Pocus 2.
You're right. You're right. What year did Hocus Pocus? I think it was like 1995, right?
Something like that. It was like in the mid 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an OOG.
Fun fact, Kenny Ortega did this movie. He did a High School Musical and the Cheetah Girls, and he's done other things like Descendants and stuff too, but he is like a choreographer, producer guy.
Him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he like produced it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, he did a great job. Okay. Do you want to give number 1?
Let's do it together. Okay, ready?
Okay, yes.
1, 2, 3. Halloweentown.
Of course. I mean, we talk about it enough. We love this movie, which I mean, we gave the only relevant other Halloweentown movies. If you talk about Halloweentown for me, no, you don't, because it doesn't exist.
Yes.
But yeah, of course, the number 1 Halloween movie is Halloweentown. I mean, what a classic.
Exactly. So basically, Marnie and her brother and sister, Sophie and Dylan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just saw it too, Dylan.
But yeah, so like their mother is very strict, doesn't let them celebrate Halloween, which Halloween is cool. So Marnie is a little bit of a rebel, rebellious oldest child, as we all are. And she just wants to know more about Halloween. And Grandma Aggie makes the surprise visit gives the kids books and toys and whatnot. And some weird things are happening in the house that the kids aren't noticing, but they're going on. And little do we know it's their powers that they don't know they have. Like Sophie can manifest. And when she wants something, she can actually telekinetically bring it to her. But yeah, they don't know it, that they have these powers. And so it's Marnie, right, that overhears the conversation between grandma and the mom and learns she's a witch. And her 13th birthday, which this is her 13th birthday, or her 13th year. Oh, 13th Halloween is what it is.
Yeah.
Is when she needs to, whatever, be initiated to become a witch for good, or she loses it. And so she hears this conversation. Her mom's making the decision for her without even informing her. So she's mad. She sneaks off and follows her grandma into Halloweentown. And so we're introduced to Halloweentown in this movie. And then, of course, there's the whole Calabar plot.
Yeah. Ah, so good. And I mean, worth mentioning that we got we got Debbie Reynolds playing Aggie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So star-studded. I
Legend.
mean, she didn't even have to waste her time with that, and she did. She gave us 3 of them. She gave us 4 of them. She was in all 4.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
And I think I didn't know who she was before that. And then as I got older, I learned she's this huge star. So she introduced herself to a new generation.
Truly. So, I mean, Halloweentown, what a legendary movie with a legendary actress that didn't even have to waste her time.
Yeah. And I gotta give Kimberly J. Brown her flowers too. She's a great actress.
Oh my gosh, we've talked about it multiple times.
Yeah.
We know she can act based on, I mean, like Quince, we know the legendary like cry scene.
So that was our top 13 Halloween movies. So make sure you go watch them.
Yeah.
And throughout the rest of the spooky season, because we're spooky girlies, we're going to give you more. We're going to do like Halloween episodes from Disney Channel, villains, and probably our review on the Haunted Mansion, the new one. So
yeah,
we've got a lot of Halloween content for you guys.
Spooky ookie season.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so rolling right into our 2 finger points. Do you want to go first and give them a break from Halloween?
Sure. So mine's just a little bit different and a little bit random, I guess. My hot take is Tarzan has the best soundtrack ever, at least in the world of Disney, I should say. I know many are going to argue, no, you've got Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, even Encanto. Honestly, though, Phil Collins did that for us. Like, he is just a great musician. He's got the drums, his singing, whatever. And really, those songs pull at your heartstrings. Like, even when I was 8 years old and this movie came out, or now at almost 32 years old, You'll Be in My Heart makes me cry. Like, actual tears.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I think there's something to be said about like all of it's good music, but then there's music that really resonates with you. And I think that's the difference here, is that this is like music that really can resonate with people. You can really feel something. Whereas like Frozen, it's like, yeah, it's good. I like the way that it sounds, but it doesn't make me feel something per se.
Right. What's your 2 finger point?
Okay, so my 2 finger point, it's gonna sound salty, I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh,
But
let's hear it.
So I think Oogie Boogie Bash is possibly overrated. Like, it seems overrated. It sounds like I'm salty because I didn't get a ticket this year, but like my reasons like are a little bit different. Like, yes, I probably still would go if I could snag a ticket, but I've been to Disneyland in the last couple of weeks. I tried to go into California Adventure. I didn't even want to be there. I literally walked in and walked out. Like, I walked in, kind of looked around and was like, no, thank you, and left. So they're getting ready to kick everybody out of the park for Oogie Boogie Bash because it starts at 6 p.m. So people are lining up to get in the parks. That just is uncomfortable to me. I don't know that there's an event that I want to be in that I feel like there's too many people. I get overwhelmed really easy by that. I just don't like that. Maybe it's my anxiety over the years. I don't know.
No,
It's,
same.
yeah.
I know that feeling when you walk into a place and you're like, nope, like you don't even have time to assess how it's gonna make you feel. It's just like I can't even afford to think about this, much less
Mhm.
dive right into it.
Hard no. And like I said, I wasn't even there for the event. So like there was a tinge of FOMO in that sense, I guess, but like I don't even think I'd want to be there for the event. Because it just doesn't look comfy. And I also like knowing like Disneyland and California Adventure compared to Disney World, significantly smaller. So for an event to be happening in California Adventure, I'm actually surprised that they picked that park because it's a pretty small park. Like, well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, really, to host an event. I don't feel like there's enough space in that park. And they are like crowd controlling with those like runners and stuff to get people to go certain directions. So that cuts off access in the park on top of it being packed. So that's my like whole thing with that. On top of it, it really doesn't seem like you're getting anything that great once you're there. So, I mean, I've seen it on TikTok. Low key, like, if you really want to be there and not have to pay for it, go on TikTok. Somebody is live streaming it for you. You don't have to be there.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is glorified trick-or-treating for adults. You're paying $130 for Disney to give you candy for like 6 hours. Let me tell you my experience with tickets because as we know, they are sold out. But I just wanted to see, like, did somebody drop a ticket and Disney put it back out there? Whatever. I don't know. It sometimes happens. But they didn't. The Disney website totally sold out. But for some reason, like StubHub and Ticketmaster were popping up. And I was like, oh my God, why
What?
didn't I? Oh yeah. But I was like, why didn't I think of this? Because like, yeah, if you just can't go, somebody would buy like 10 tickets and resell them or whatever, you know? So I looked for the same week, $400 per ticket.
What?
You got me fucked up if you think I'm going to pay that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But you know,
$400.
per ticket, which meant if I was buying two, $800.
That better include my hotel, dinner, transportation.
What disgusted me so much by it is the fact that I know somebody out there paid it.
Yeah.
Somebody paid that price. There's no advantage for the people going except for clout.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's all it is. It's just so I can get clicks and likes.
Yeah, and that's not worth it to me. That's my long-winded, little bitch session about that. Y'all can hate it, love it, or, tell me that I'm wrong and tell me that something else is happening here that I'm not seeing and let me regain my FOMO because if I regain it, maybe I'll come next year.
So those are our 2 finger points, and we're gonna bring back. We were talking about this. We're gonna bring back story of the week, and we're gonna start implementing our stories from the DCP. I think we've held on to them long enough, so we're just gonna start sharing them. Today I have one for you guys. On the first day, I made friends with 2 girls. Let's call them Ashley and Sarah. It was kind of like your typical you make friends with someone on the first day, you never talk to them again. So, no big deal, no hard feelings. We just didn't really talk after that. And I ended up becoming really good friends with someone. I'll call him Peter. And one day I went to the park with him and he's like, oh yeah, my friend Sarah's gonna meet up with us. Lo and behold, it's the same Sarah. So I was like, oh cool, like like reunited or whatever, like cool, like we know the same people, we can start hanging out again. So we start hanging out again, and one night Peter has a bunch of people over at his house drinking or whatever. Or maybe we were just chilling, I don't know. I don't remember who, but somebody had wanted to go, maybe it was me. I wanted to go to the beach, and it was nighttime, but I knew you could like go onto Cocoa Beach at night. There's no lights or anything, so it's kind of spooky, but whatever, like I want to go to the beach. And Sarah was down. My friend, let's name him John, was down, and Peter's roommate was down. Let's name him James. So it's gonna be myself, Sarah, John, and James. And the boys all of a sudden decide they want to go to Miami, which is about a 3-hour drive, and it's probably 9 p.m. Cocoa Beach is an hour away. And I'm like, I really don't want to. But I guess if we have to, fine. But then they want to get a hotel room. I'm like, not happening. Not happening because I don't really know James. And John has a girlfriend. And so like just him being in a room with other girls, I don't want any trouble for his girlfriend, you know?
Yeah.
So we nixed that. We end up nixing that, thank goodness. I said I'll go to Miami, but we had to come back tonight. They didn't want to do that. So we go to Cocoa Beach. So it's the four of us. So John has a girlfriend and Sarah has a boyfriend. I believe James was single and I was single. So we go, get to the beach. We're all sitting there, just chilling. And all of a sudden, Sarah takes off running. And she drove us there. So, like, is she just leaving us at the beach? Well, next thing I know, James takes off running. And so it's just me and John. And John and I are like really good friends. So it's not like awkward in that way, but we're just like, did we just get ditched here? Like, how are we going to get home? Like, what's going on? And so we're just sitting there, like trying to figure this out. I'm trying not to panic. We're just talking or whatever. And eventually they come back. And, I'm 22. I was a little grown than some folks there, but I was still naive. And I'm like, well, that was weird, but nothing could have happened, right? Like, she's got a boyfriend. So whenever we finish up and leave, and I'm in the back seat with John and James is in the front seat and he falls asleep. And it looks, but I cannot tell, but it looks like Sarah has her hand on his lap. But there's like enough stuff in the front seat that it's kind of blocking the full view to confirm it. And I don't want to be like obvious looking at it. So it was very weird. We get back, whatever. And I worked with one of her roommates as well. So there's just all sorts of connections here. Well, apparently James had been coming over to study with her.
Oh.
Now, some people were continuing college, but not, the majority of people were not. And they're not going to the same school. They were not from the same area. They're not studying together. And this girl I worked with shared a room with Sarah. And she informed us of, signs of what was going on while she was not there.
What?
I'm gonna cut this out.
Ew, no way.
I'm dead serious.
That is so gross. Oh my God, I can't.
They definitely were doing the dirty and trying to keep it secret from everybody. But yeah, that was one of my many DCP stories for you guys today.
That was definitely heavy DCP.
I went to community college. I never got the university experience, but this really gave me that in a span of 5 months. But yeah, so that concludes my story, and we're gonna wrap up here, but be sure to come back next week for more Halloween fun. And we'll see you next Two Finger Point Tuesday. Bye guys.
Thank you for listening to Two Finger Point, hosted by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Created by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Produced by Amber Omar. Engineered by Kylie Salmon. Social media managed by Kylie Salmon. Content created by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Stay connected with us by following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube at Two Finger Point Podcast with the number 2 spelled out, TWO. You can also contact us by visiting our website at twofingerpointpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast to have new episodes automatically downloaded to your device or to get alerts of our new episodes on YouTube. We greatly appreciate you rating and reviewing our podcast as well. You could be selected to have your review read on the podcast, like this review here from our friend Zoe, My Disney Podcast Fix. Amber and Kylie have put together the perfect podcast about all things Disney. Love to hear their banter, their opinions, their recommendations, and I love following along with their quiz at the end of each episode. You know it's a good podcast when you find yourself chiming in. Listening to them every week has me feeling connected to the parks even when I'm far away. Thanks, ladies. Thanks to you too, Zoe. We will catch you next Tuesday for our next episode, but until then, have a magical day.